Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am your host, Joseph Labman. Welcome into The Real. Great show today, as always. We're going to be joined by legendary coach Johnnie Legrair. Looking forward to that. And also look ahead to the Browns preseason game coming up. Shout out to our man, Warren G. Good to see you again, brother. Yeah, Warren, we're going to get to Shedeur's injury here in a minute. But good to see you again, brother. Salute to you. And welcome on in. And so let's get right to it. This will be another Browns injury evaluation. We'll be doing these throughout the year, keep you guys up to date on a lot of things with the injuries going on, how long guys will be out. Coach came on a couple weeks ago and talked about Kenny Pickett in particular. Obviously, we talked about the Martin Emerson injury when it happened. He's out for the year with the Achilles. But Coach mentioned a couple weeks ago that, Kenny Pickett's injury would probably take 3 to 4 weeks. Usually those hamstrings take to heal. And here we are about 3 to 4 weeks later, and he's still out and still nursing that injury. And so we'll get to some stuff here. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders now out with a strained left. I think it's the left oblique. So he's out now. He suited up today at practice, but did not participate. He was moving around, dancing and stuff. So he's still up on his feet, moving around, staying active, but probably not playing this Saturday, which, coming off a really good game last week. And then Dillon Gabriel, he's still nursing a hamstring injury and going to be out there playing most likely starting Saturday, 1 o'clock against the Eagles. So a lot of stuff going on in this Browns quarterback room. We knew the competition coming into the season. It was going to be, a big camp. There was a lot at stake here. A lot of these guys are fighting for the quarterback too. We know Flacco's going to start the season. That's why he's not playing in the preseason. But, who's going to be that next guy up? Because Flacco, a lot of people don't expect him to play the whole season. You expect one of these three guys, especially the two guys you drafted this year, to really take over and be the guy the rest of the year. So this is a lot at stake here for these guys, obviously. But, you got a pretty banged up quarterback room right now, and it's probably the worst time to have injuries. And so, yeah. Well, so let's bring the man up here himself. Let's see. We got Chi-Town in the building. Good to see you. Warren again from Chicago. Salute Sanders out. Tune In Sports says, yes, he is out, Tune. He's day-to-day, but we'll see what happens. These hamstring injuries, or not hamstring, he doesn't have hamstring, the other two. These oblique injuries are a little different. I know there were some conflicting reports put out there today saying that he could be out for a little bit. Could this be the end of his preseason? I don't know. That's why I want to bring Coach up here to see what he has to say about it. So without further ado, the man and the legend himself, Coach Johnnie Legrair. Coach, how you doing?
All right. How are you?
Good. Thanks for there we go. But Coach, appreciate you taking time as always to come up here, and another injury evaluation, Coach. Here we are again. We got some more injuries, unfortunately, since the last time you were here. And we'll start here, Coach, and we'll go player by player with these three. You can give your analysis on each situation. Obviously, they're all a little different. This is from Mary Kay Cabot today. It said Shedeur Sanders will be out for at least a little while with his oblique strain. Kevin Stefanski said Thursday, and fellow rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel is expected to start Saturday's second preseason game against the Eagles. Gabriel is still dealing with his injured hamstring and will only miss if the muscle doesn't cooperate or if it's sore after Thursday's second joint practice against the Eagles. So I guess we'll start there, Coach. When you read that there at the end, and I got Dillon Gabriel yesterday was asked in the media, asked if his hamstring is 100%. He said, quote, "We'll know soon here." Then it says, "I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm just right where my feet are." So staying in the moment. But when you read that there, Coach, at the end, that He's still, you see, still dealing with his injured hamstring. Will only miss the start if the muscle doesn't cooperate or if it's sore. What does that signal to you?
Well, again, generically speaking, I'm not knowing what he's doing or how he's doing it, or it's rehab now for him. So it's going to be a little bit sore more than likely. Again, generically speaking, it's a tough thing to kind of bounce back quickly from. It's a rest type injury, so it's going to require a significant amount of rest, a little bit of we'll say manipulation and physical therapy kinds of things. But these guys are in a crazy position. When they miss stuff, they're out. So they don't want to miss stuff. They're up for a very important time in their careers right now, starting out doing this stuff. But as we talked about before, and we mentioned several weeks ago, I don't know if we traded messages or talked on the phone. We talked a little bit about it here. It's just, I'm not sure enough attention is paid to pre and post season. It's a little bit complicated, but to say it on a less complicated level, there's a lot of things that can be done pre and post season to carry you into and through the season. So a lot of things should be happening. And I hate to say this to some of my football friends, it's not all weight room. You can't do some of this stuff that needs to be done in the weight room. You have to have some balance, some pliability, some flexibility. You have to learn to put armor on your body pre and post season. That's a critical time from 8 years old to 80 years old. And I'm pretty reasonably sure, I should say, that these guys are throwing a lot. They're doing a lot. They're trying to impress people. Every throw is 100%. It's not a jog. It's a full speed sprint. It's not a quick dodge to the left. It's a rocket left. So everything they're doing is aggressive, and it should be. So it's that preps time that's got to go into that. Excuse me. It's that prep time that's needed to be able to go into these things and be ready. You got to put armor on your body for this stuff. Let's face it, football is a collision sport. I'm going to run as fast as I can, as hard as I can, and run into you at about 25 to 45 miles an hour and bring in very 1,000 pounds of crush.
Basically a car accident every play.
Yeah, basically you get a significant whiplash. He's going to be sore. In just, again, generically speaking, not knowing exactly what he's doing or how he's doing it. But I'm telling you. Hey, Cleveland Browns. Hey, Cavaliers. Hey, Guardians. Let me look and see what you're doing for 1 year and then give me a shot at fixing that, just in case they're listening.
You better hit them up. Call them. Numbers right there in the background.
It could be something that we talked about before. It is so simple to try to correct this stuff that it's hard. Like, I put 10 people in a room that's over 18, and I look at all of them and say, okay, ready? You got to answer this question correctly. How much is 1 + 1? First thing everybody's going to do is look at each other and like, this is a trick. It's so simple, it's hard. And again, I know what a couple athletes do pre and post season that play pro sports. I think some of the stuff that they can do can be a little bit more aggressive. And then the ancient behind the curtain look, rest, recovery. You can't do 12 months. You can't do 10 months. It's hard to do 9 months. So things change from in season than pre and post season. But pre and post season is absolutely the time to get your body ready to go to battle. Every sport. We don't need to shoot 5,000 free throws 12 months a year. Your arm's going to fall off. So we have to do some other things. We have to strengthen some areas. We have to make some areas more flexible, more pliable. We have to get our biomechanics correct. And that's what pre and post season should be for. I'm not a huge fan. I think we talked about this before, of a 8 to 12-year-old kid playing baseball 11 and a half months a year, or playing basketball 11 and a half months a year. I tried to find, I have to look at one of my old phones. I had what was believed to be a photo of the war room at the Ohio State University. and it had a little diagram. And in the diagram, it talked about how many athletes were recruited under Urban Meyer that played only football his entire tenure. It wasn't a lot.
Not many.
And
he spoke about that openly, how he targeted multi-sport guys. I mean,
absolutely. And it only makes sense. But again, I think it's one of those things that is just so simple that it's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, and you always bring that up, and I love to emphasize that all the time about how the prehab and the post season rehab, you just don't see a lot of, and I see a lot of people on Twitter today, Coach, or X now, all over social media, really targeting the Brown strength. I don't know the guy who the gentleman is that the strength conditioning coach, but they were putting his picture all over the internet today and saying like, "Who is this guy? We need to question him." Like, and I put last time you were on the show, I showed the graph. They led the league in most guys on IR week to week. It was like a point scale I showed, an article written, and they've been one of the most injured teams in the league. And the teams that weren't really as injured, teams like the Eagles in recent years, who's always been consistently good, the Chiefs, the Patriots, good organizations. They didn't have many of those injuries week to week in the IR scale. It was always the Browns at the top.
Yeah, I just think it's so simple. I don't know what the structure is like. If it's, quote, the strength and conditioning person that does all pre, all in season, all postseason, and I don't even know if they bother with them in the postseason. You make $59 million a year, so you probably don't want to be bothered in the postseason because you're doing, making commercials and stuff. But I don't know what they do, but it just something has to change.
And the only workouts I see nowadays, Coach, is guys, they just like to go out. If they're a quarterback, let's say, they're going out just throwing constantly, in shorts and t-shirt. We saw Deshaun Watson this week on his rehab. He's already throwing and running. They're either doing that or they're just in the weight room. That's it. That's the only two I see. I never see them doing any real, like, the stuff you talk about with balance and flexibility, work on your biomechanics and stuff that really prevents injury. They just don't work on it. You don't see it. And I don't know if I've seen a stretch band on the sideline of a practice so far this training camp, honestly.
Last year, an athlete I trained went to a Cavs game. And before all of the hoopla started, he sent, I think it was a picture he sent or a message and said, "Guess what is on the floor at the Cavs game?" And I said, "Basketballs?" But he said, "No, they're doing the stretch band thing." It was 2 injured players. So now it's rehab. So let's do some of this stuff 10 to 15 weeks, a couple times a week, 10 to 15 weeks. I can only promise you it'll make a difference. And it's never failed. It'll make a difference. But there's a little asterisk that goes with that. You got to do the work.
Right. Absolutely.
A long time ago, a guy told me, and I stole it, I can lead you to the waters of athletic improvement, but I cannot make you bend down, cup your hands, and take a drink. So we have to get our minds into the philosophy of, I am going to work harder, but I'm going to work smarter. And I just think, from my little poor observation for a little pumpkin farm boy doing speed stuff on the side, I just don't think they spend a lot of time prepping. I could be 100% wrong, but statistically, it doesn't show me that they are. People that prep, you're going to get hurt from contact. We are not going to avoid collision type injuries, falling down, tripping, stuff like that. Getting hit by somebody that weighs 350 pounds and they're running at 11 miles an hour and they're 6'8", that's going to leave a mark. But there's so many other little things. Something as simple as jump rope. I have athletes that once they're in a little bit more of an advanced stage of what we're doing, they need to get 300 foot contacts a week. And every time the foot hits the ground, that's a contact. Not 300 at one time. And then the other part is if you suggest to somebody to do something, like you tell a 2-mile kid, all right, this weekend, it's a light day. We're going to just have you guys run like 2 miles in the morning, one day on the weekend, and then 2 miles in the afternoon. Kid will come back to school on Monday. So how did it go? I did 11 miles Saturday and I did 10 miles Sunday. That wasn't what we asked you to do. And I'm sure these guys, pro athletes, are doing the same thing. They got to be aggressive. They can't wait. They got to put a Band-Aid on this thing, take a painkiller, and get out there and make this thing hurt. So I'm reasonably sure he'll be sore if the injury is what they said. But again, that hamstring thing is generally telling you something else is wrong with the body. The hamstring is the check engine light in the body. You don't take your car to the dealer and say, hey, my check engine light is on, fix it. They scan the check engine light to see what's wrong.
Right.
And that's sort of what hamstrings do. Hamstrings generally, it's not the hamstring. 8.5 times out of 10 could be the knees, low back.
Well, we know an athlete, not going to say any names, but had a hamstring thing before the season. Now is an MCL sprain. So unfortunately, and hoping he's going to be back soon. But it's definitely connected. It's what yesterday Mike and I talked about this coach on his show. And once the news came out that Sanders was probably not playing Saturday and looks like Gabriel's going to start, but then I see these comments again saying, we'll know here soon, and he has no clue what's going to happen, obviously. But I was a little concerned, Coach. I read these comments because I'm like, he's definitely not 100%. I hear the coach then come out today and say, we'll see how he is after practice, if he's sore. How much of it is a risk for? How much of a risk is it for him, Coach? Because I'm a little worried. I don't want to see this guy go out there Saturday and possibly injure himself more on something maybe he shouldn't be playing on, possibly. Obviously, they know more than we do. But looking from the outside, it looks like I'm a little concerned about, is he going to be even healthy enough to go out there? Because he's a mobile guy, too. He likes to use his legs. I mean, it's a big game for him. There's a lot of pressure. Shedeur played well last week, so he's got to bounce back this week and stay in the competition, obviously, and it's his chance now. So what would be your concern about him playing at all in this game Saturday and in general? Because like I said, when I saw that yesterday, I was a little concerned. Like, I hope he doesn't go out there Saturday and something else happens. Knock on wood.
Well, he's way more prone to re-injury. One of the reasons is he's going to play guarded, meaning he's going to play not to push off real fast and hard on that thing a lot, not to extend his lower leg out or lift his thigh enough to be able to run faster. You get that thigh lifted and push that lower leg out, that hamstring is going to start screaming. So I personally believe he's at a greater risk if he's not 95%-ish. And we're leaving out the good old factor of it's a collision sport. So he releases that ball and not expecting to get his legs wrapped around by some dude that can crush a coconut with his 2 fingers. It's just going to hurt. It's just going to hurt. And he probably won't want to come out of there. He'll do everything he can to say, I'm good. Well,
especially after what happened last week. I mean, he's got to go out there and miss a battle. I mean, and it's, again, going back to the Browns, that's a whole nother. It's not ideal. We had this big quarterback battle going into camp, highly anticipated. Now, 3 of the 4 guys are out with injuries. So it's like, what's going on here? But, and speaking on, more with the hamstrings, going on to Kenny Pickett, and Coach, last time you were on, you said 3 to 4 weeks, and here we are. We're about that time frame, and he's still right around that in that time frame, but still nursing that hamstring, slowly getting back, getting more reps. But they asked him yesterday about it. He said, "quote I feel like I'm turning the corner this week. I'm getting there." He said, and asked about next week. He said, "I can't say that yet. It will be close." Then he went on to say that I thought this was interesting. He said, kind of going off what you just said, hopefully I can push it to be out there. I want to be smart, but at the same time, I want to be out there competing. So those 2 comments there from you hear that, Coach. Obviously, you mentioned earlier working smarter, not harder, and he's trying to find that balance right now by his comments there. What's your reaction to Kenny Pickett?
They're in a tough spot. I mean, all these guys are trying to get a job, and you can't get a job being hurt. So I think just kind of human nature. I have to be out here. I got to make this happen. Where can I compensate to the right so I can be a little stronger going to the left? How much pain can I take? It comes down to sometimes a pain tolerance. I'm not a big pain guy.
Yeah.
So if it's kind of hurting, it's a sign. The body is telling you something. It's usually a warning of some kind. Something else is about to happen, particularly with hamstrings. Again, hamstrings, you don't fix the hamstring, so to speak. The hamstring is saying something else is going on. So we have to address what else is going on with that hamstring. Generally, a lot of times it's knees. You start getting the hamstring things and something's up with the knees. But traditionally, a lot of athletes have weaker low backs and bad biomechanics. You do the same kind of incorrect movement 4,000 times, something is going to give. until we get that thing straightened out.
So
But
you
again,
see,
that's
the Browns have had a lot of lower body injuries. I've noticed, in particular, a lot of older sports. I always know the Achilles. Talk about that. So when you say the knee, I mean, usually what's the cause of that kind of knee causing that? I guess irritation of the knee or that inflammation in the knee that could lead to injury. Usually, like you said, just biomechanics, or could it be too much heavy lifting in the weight room? Could it be? I don't know. I mean, what could it be? I'm just trying to get a guess here.
case by case. But again, generically, there is some aggravating factor. Didn't
Yeah.
just wake up this morning, get out of bed, get your clothes on, get out the house, and the knee starts hurting. There's some aggravating factor in there. Again, it could be hamstrings. That check engine light in the body saying, hey, something's going on with your knee. But a lot of times, being a former athlete, boy, does my ankle hurt. Pass me the ball.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep going. But it's just something else has to happen. We got to figure out, what is the root cause of this thing. And we can't say, oh my goodness, you're tough it out. Get this thing done. You got to do this. Well, that's okay for today. And it might be about 80, 90%. And depending on the athlete, 80 to 90% of that athlete might be better than 100% of his partner. But that's also a risk you take. You play for 2 days and then you're out for 22 days. So for me, I think the recovery part is critical. Like, how fast can I recover? If you're playing something, you are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not a non-contact injury, which some are largely preventable. If it's a contact, nothing you can do about it. It's going to happen. You're playing stuff, fall down hits, whatever. But we got to try to prepare for that recovery. If we're in pretty good with our balance, speed, agility, core strength, it's all that stuff connected, shoulders down to the knees, and through the knees, then we come back quicker. We come back in, say, 3 to 4 weeks, as opposed to 34 weeks. So all of that pre-stuff, we do that stuff in the preseason. A lot of little crazy stuff. One athlete told me, this is a lot of little crazy stuff, but I didn't get hurt last year just walking down the steps. So we have to be able to prepare ourselves to go to battle. Even when I'm playing ping pong, I mean, I warm up a little bit and do stuff, and which I'll tell all of everybody who's watching this, I'll probably beat them in ping pong. But you just got to prepare for stuff, man. You got to be ready. And the other side, you get some of these little injuries, and you can link it back to dehydration.
Well, I thought you were going to ask you. I keep hearing a lot of these injuries or just causes you're bringing up, and the more we talk about this, I just keep going back because I see a lot of, even from the high school level on up, especially the hydration. I think is not as good as it used to be. Well, I mean, when I was 10 years ago, I thought guys hydrate a lot better. Although there were still guys that only drink like a half bottle of Gatorade for practice. That wasn't ideal. So, but but I just think the hydration nowadays is not what it used to be or what it should be. I mean, and everybody's got these little cups now, these big cups. You think they would drink more water, but I don't think they really know how much to drink or how much to, you have to hydrate days before as well. It can't just be the day of. And I just think that in the recovery as well. I mean, I just don't. How many guys are drinking chocolate milk? I don't see. I mean, a lot of guys. I know the facilities now, they all have like smoothies or they got the milks and stuff, which is good. But I don't know. It's just something that seems a little off to me there, maybe with the hydration.
Yeah, I don't think many athletes, particularly younger athletes, hydrate at all. A couple seasons ago in track and field, I saw the worst lack of hydration cramp that I'd seen in 50 years.
Wow.
This girl, we were doing like, I think we were doing like repeat 200s at about 80%. Run a 200, 80%, my 80%, not theirs. And then we walk a few seconds and then we run another 200. Right about that third one, this girl just dropped, like the floor just went out from under her and she didn't see it. I go running over there with some more coaches and we're looking. Her toe and her toes had turned up so aggressively. I had never seen it. Just absolutely locked. Just locked. Now, I knew from history she hated to drink any liquids. And I'm saying she hated to drink any liquids, water, sport beverage, low-fat chocolate, strawberry milk. She just didn't like drinking. So I'm like, I don't know if you can help. You can't prevent it. I mean, it's that simple. Again, 1 and 1 is
Yeah.
really 2. So it's that simple. I've seen some college athletes do the same thing. If I remember correctly, Dwayne Wade, after he retired, talked about his lack of hydration when he played in college.
Wow.
I didn't drink anything. Always sore, always hurting.
Yeah.
So again, it takes a village, so to speak. It's not just weight room. It's not just protein. It's a lot of little stuff that goes into making that. So the village of sports prep, it's a lot of little stuff. It can be done, but it's like, how much is 1 + 1?
And a lot of it's just common sense too. I mean, it's like I see guys nowadays. I know some guys. I've been talking to some coaches recently. They're coaching at the high school level, and they're just complaining about kids showing up to practice drinking energy drinks, drinking 2, 3, 4 practice, and they're like, and then they're out there screwing up too because they're too wired or they're
Yeah.
that. Or I remember when I played 10 years ago, guys, we'd have our midday break on 2 days. Guys would go to Circle K and get a Polar Pop. And drink a Polar Pop on their break, and I remember I was thinking, "How is that hydrating you? Drinking caffeine, which dehydrates you more."
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense, but it's crazy you brought that up too. I was at a football game last year, made me think of that. I saw a cramp from an opposing team we were playing, and this kid was down on the field probably for a good, I don't know, 10 minutes, and usually you would in the past, you'd think, "Okay, maybe this kid's really, like, hurt," like, maybe they're tending to him, make sure you can get up and walk off or everything's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there thinking something big. No, they're running out there bottles of Powerade, got this kid chugging Powerade. I mean, it's crazy now. The cramps, like you said, they're not the cramps you saw 10 years ago when you got hurt. You'd stretch it out real quick, they get you up, you run out to the sideline, drink some fluids, come back in. You know what I mean? Get a little, you're good to go. Nowadays, like you said, these cramps I'm seeing, I saw it last year, like you saw, I mean, they're down on the field for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not normal. That's not what it used to be, but go watch the Hydration Circle video, Coach. We put out, and
Yeah.
Coach showed you guys a couple things that'll help you not have those cramps.
Yeah, I just don't think enough time and attention is put into some of the little significant things. One athlete told me, don't really condition much once the season starts. It's just punishment runs, which is why I can't get a kid to run a 400 voluntarily. Why I got to run so far? What did I do? But I think if more time was spent on, well, you got to hydrate. A long time ago, a physician, some of the pediatricians would say, you should take in water about half your body weight in ounces of water. So you got a kid weighing 100 pounds, they should drink 50 ounces of water a day. Old school. But then some of the other things start happening. You got sports beverages with all of these protein, carbohydrates, these vitamins, sodium, fat, sugar, stuff that we need in our bodies because that's the stuff that we sweat out. So 100 ounces or 50 ounces of water is a lot for a 100-pound kid. So it started sort of evolving into a safe amount, generically, a couple, 3 bottles of water a day. Now, back in the day, the real day, when I played sports in high school and college, it was like 12-ounce bottles. Now they're like 16.9 or something.
Well, you get these bigger ones too. Like I got a liter here, but and a lot of these water's good now. You can stay right there. Not a sponsor, Gatorade, but electrolyte infused. Higher pH. So it's actually higher quality water now too. You do feel a difference drinking these. Because electrolytes are important too to gets the water into the muscles in the I believe I read in the body. I read in Tom Brady's book, the TV12 method, talking about hydration.
Yeah,
it's electrolytes.
It's serious. I mean, it's amazing to me that a lot of people don't spend more time doing that. And that's, again, one of the simple things. One of the 1 + 1 things is really 2: hydrate. Sip on water all day. Sip, 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 sip.
Right.
When I'm announcing games like football or basketball games that I announce, I'm watching kids come off the field, and some of them are literally, or the court, some of them are literally tripping, like jogging off the surface, the playing surface. They're literally tripping, and it's like first quarter. I'm like, why are they so wiped out? And you can sort of tell if somebody's starting to dehydrate they grab a bottle or a beverage of some kind and they take like 6 gulps. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, your cardio is not that good either.
yeah, and they're about to give it up. I mean, you got to suck down that much fluid, but
I see that a lot in the gym too. A lot of people that they hate doing cardio, so their excuse to not do cardio is just go lift a lot of weights every day and go walk around the track, get steps. What steps are great, but
yeah.
there's days where I take a break and go. But you got to get your cardiovascular up to speed. And a lot of people I see coach at the gym, they're chugging at the gym, chugging water, chugging. They can't. And I'm thinking, man, you guys are only on the bike for like 20, 30 minutes. I haven't broke a sweat yet, because it's like.
Couple athletes a couple years ago would take a gallon jug full of water, and their target was to drink that gallon of water before they went to practice. I mean, that's a lot of water.
A lot of water.
Medically, I think I've read that people have died from too much water.
Yeah, I read it, but you're only supposed to drink. Don't take my word, but I think if I drink a liter and a half of this, so one of these and a half, that would be 50 ounces, I believe. Or just a little over that. You should never drink more than that max in a 90-minute span. Max. Yeah. And some people can't even handle that.
And I think that's where some of that your body weight versus ounces came in from some physicians to try to balance that thing out.
And the hydration days before, spacing it out.
Yeah, about 2 to 3 days. Again, this stuff is so simple,
right,
that I think it's just too hard.
Yeah, because I know a lot of guys right now, they're practicing at 6:30 a.m. practice. So if you practice at 6:30 a.m., you're going to want to sleep up as far as you can you can go. So you probably should be hydrating a lot the day before.
Yeah.
And probably get a bottle or two in before practice and then get going. But
a couple before that. But the energy drink thing, I have to side with some physicians and some stuff that I read. Man, they need to get these things out of here. I call it heart attack in a can. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah. You just don't need that stuff. But this is America, and we think more is better. So if I put in 25 ounces as opposed to 10 ounces, I should be better, right?
Yeah.
So it's just you got to spend a little more time in that prep phase, I think, particularly for younger athletes and even athletes in their 30s and 40s. Get a little bit more of that prep phase. What am I doing to prepare my body to go to battle for 25 games, for 10 games?
Absolutely.
So I think that's just so critical. And again, it's just so simple. It's hard.
He said, Coach, thoughts on Propel, or can you give us your favorite hydration drink for when you go, when you're at the gas station? The Humble works outside a lot all day, does, construction. So I actually drink Propel at my lunch. I usually try to, my thing, Humble, is I drink my water all throughout the day, but I know I'm going to go work out here in a little bit. So I try to drink an electrolyte beverage with my lunch. So I know I'm staying up to speed, and it helps me. I feel better actually before I go work out. But yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of depends what you're doing. I mean, somebody like myself, maybe you, Humble, we're working outside. We're not out like sweating a lot unless you're sweating a lot. I think the sugar-free ones are good because I try to stay from that stuff because, you drink a lot as you gain weight actually. So, but I guess what Coach is referring to, if you're out there as an athlete though, what is that kind of balance, Coach, between the sugar, like the regular Gatorades or the sugar-free ones?
That's been an age-old argument. It's such an old argument about, do I need sugar? And people think, oh, don't do any sugar. But I go back to basics where what is our bodies made of? Our bodies have water and sugar and fat and sodium and a whole bunch of other stuff. So when we're playing, we're getting rid of that stuff more. We're sweating out all of that stuff. Yeah. So to continue to play, we need to replenish to get that stuff back in. It's like, I like burning firewood in a fireplace. If I put 10 logs in there, I'm good for about 3 hours. But in about 2.5, 3 hours, I got to replenish that, or it's not going to be hot anymore. So I look at our bodies as similar to that. I ask athletes who particularly are fluid deficient, go to your physician. Tell your physician or your doctor, I play football on turf 42 times a week. From June till about November. What should I be putting in my body to stay hydrated? So it's kind of an individual basis thing. I drink a variety of different kinds of protein type things. I need protein, carbohydrates. I'm not playing and running and stuff anymore, but some days I'm training 3 to 6 hours and I get a little dehydrated. I get those little 12, or I think it's a 12-ounce Powerade or Gatorade kind of thing. I may put 2 of those down in a couple hours because I'm getting hydrated. I freeze 2 waters in the morning, put it in my little cooler, and freeze 2 sport beverages in the morning and put it in my cooler. And when I get to where I'm going to train, I take one out and start letting it unthaw by sun. and I drink those. But it sort of becomes a kind of taste thing. But significant hydration, get to your physician and say, what do I need to be putting in here? How much of this stuff do I need to be putting in here? I've had
body armor. He's a body armor guy. Shout out to Humble.
There you go. I mean, I've had athletes go to their physicians and their doctors will say, that's all you drink? Oh, I drink like a bottle and a half of water, and I drink 1 or 2 Powerade or Gatorades, and then I practice for like 4 hours. That's all you drink? Again, that hydration thing is, I think body weight is a good way to go, but significant improvement, you can start with that. But ask my doctor, hey, doc, here's what I'm playing. I'm sweating a lot. I had a kid from St. Ed's that sweated so much when he got out of his car and walked to where we were training, he had to change shirts.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, you need to go to the doctor or something. Now my whole family does this. So he drank a lot.
He's got all their habits.
Yeah. He drank a lot, man. He would have a couple bottles of water before he got to training. He'd drink a half a bottle there. He'd drink some Powerade, some Gatorade. He had another some kind of balance thing for muscles drink that his doctor said was pretty good. So there's a lot of stuff out there.
I was actually going to mention athletes going out working out or practicing in the morning, or anybody that goes and exercises every morning. Because I know some people that go to the gym in the morning. They're like, yeah, I was running. I felt like I was going to pass out. I was feeling a little dizzy. It was so. I heard a little trick one time for somebody. I started using this probably about 6-7 years ago. 3 to 5 ounces of apple juice before you go, because it'll get the blood sugar going, and it's got a high in potassium. Really good. I mean, it's just a little 3 to 5 ounces. You put that if you're going to work out and train in the morning. Any athlete, you got practice tomorrow morning at 6:30. Start trying that and before you go, because you do feel it gives you a little boost, but it gets because you mentioned about sugar earlier, your body needs certain things.
Yeah,
you got to get the blood sugar going. I see too many guys in these early morning practices. They look like they're half asleep, number one, but also I'm like, there's no way you guys hydrated properly this early in the morning, and you're out here kind of just going through the motions. That's a higher risk of injury.
Yeah. And again, all that, it's a village. I mean, all of this stuff that we do, tries to work together. It takes a village to do this stuff, but a good place to start, but particularly for athletes that are, I'm going to say, more serious and significant, and that starts to be around 6th grade these days, on through college and the pros. Next time you go to visit your doctor for a physical or something, just mention, here's what I do, here's what I play, here's how long I do it. What should I be putting in my body? What do you think I'm missing? So you get a better analysis from there. Just after college, I did a physical, and it was a full body kind of everything physical. And the doctor said, for 3 days, I want you to write down everything you eat or drink. I'm like, 3 days? So I wrote all of this stuff down, and I was eating more than I thought I was eating. And then when I went back, this nutrition lady, she starts telling me about all of the stuff that I need and all of the stuff that I'm taking in, which was pretty phenomenal. And that's why I say a physician is a good place to start for some accuracy. The commercials are great. I watch, what's her face? Caitlin Clark from Indiana Fever. Fever, I'm available. Fix these quads and hammies.
Better call him up. Sign's right there in the back. He's waiting.
It's a great commercial. She's drinking, I don't want to say which one it is because I don't remember, but she's drinking a sport beverage, and her body is just tingling with this refreshing rebuild of all of this protein and carbohydrates. And that's great. That's good stuff. You need that stuff in your body to continue to play. To stay in the game, it takes more than water. Water is great. We need water, but it takes more than water to stay in the game.
Yeah, and I love you brought that up too about even going to see a nutritionist. I wish more high schools had more sports like real nutrition.
Oh yeah.
To get these kids to eat properly. And sometimes I think kids will eat actually too much. You see a lot of this football guys go eat, go eat 5 massive pancakes. That's a lot of shit after practice. And all that. Like, you probably don't need that much, and that's a little too much. But, I actually had to learn that recently. Again, this one of my goals being this summer was to cut back on weight again. And so now I'm down almost 30 pounds. And because I had somebody that really knew what they were talking about, really pulled me aside. Like, hey, man, just all you need right here. Focus on more of these foods. Like if you're an athlete out there, you feel a little dizzy, you hydrate more, you probably need to increase your protein. You need a little more protein. It's simple things like that. It's, but yeah, but that's really good stuff there. You got anything else you want to add for it? Because I definitely got to get to the main one that everyone's waiting for is the Shedeur Sanders. You got anything else on the?
No, you get it. Just do the simple stuff, man. Find somebody. Today, I watched a kid run down by campus, University of Akron, and I was talking to somebody, and I'm like, "Ooh, that shit hurt." This kid was running horrible. He was probably late somewhere, but he was flying. Looked horrible. I'm like, I want to see this kid again in about a week. So what's hurting, son? I mean, so it's the little stuff again with the biomechanics and the hydration. It's a village, man, and I just wish people spent more time doing that little stuff to make it last longer. Let's get after this last guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big one. We'll definitely do more of that stuff. We've already hit on a lot in the show. We'll continue all season long for you, the athletes out there. I know a lot of people have loved it, Coach, and we appreciate your insight. Going on the Shedeur Sanders, though, the big injury everybody's focused on. Obviously had a big game last week. Probably would have started this week, it sounds like, from Mary Kay Cabot's tweet before he got hurt yesterday, that because they weren't sure if Gabriel's even going to play yet or if he's going to be limited. But unfortunately, Shedeur got hurt yesterday. But this came out today. This is in Yahoo Sports. And it talks about the recovery timeline, and it says Shedeur Sanders oblique injury recovery timeline. Sanders' injury was officially ruled as a strained oblique. The Browns announced Wednesday, similar to most soft tissue injuries, time missed with an oblique strain is dependent on the severity of the injury. Oblique strains are classified into 3 grades: grade 1, which is mild; grade 2, moderate; and grade 3, severe. As the designations indicate, a grade 1 strain is the quickest recovery time, with players often returning in 1-2 weeks. Now, we're really uncertain kind of what he's dealing with here. I guess a good sign was he suited up today. Didn't participate really, but he was still moving around today, dancing. And so I guess maybe that's a good sign. But here's another Browns insider, Jason Lloyd for The Athletic. He spoke on it today on the All Cleveland Sports Show. And then I'll turn it over to the coach. Here's what Jason said today.
I'm curious to see how they play this now with the numbers game. I'm not saying it's 4 to 6 weeks. I'm just saying in baseball, that's what a lot of times it turns out to be. Hopefully it's only a couple of days. Hopefully it was just very minor and at least be back on the practice field at some point next week. I'm not that optimistic at this point, just given the history of these things and how these things typically go. You're going to err on the side of caution. He wasn't going to be your starter. He was never going to be your starter. So why are you – it's not like you're trying to rush him back to prepare him for week 1. So it's unfortunate, man. It's weird. We joked about it yesterday. They got 4 quarterbacks in camp, and 3 of them are hurt, and the old man is the one still standing. and I am kind of
and that's something. The oldest one is still the only one standing. But so an oblique strain, Coach, what's your thoughts on that? And how it's your observation of that injury there usually?
Well, again, that individual thing, but genetically or generically speaking, everything he's going to do is going to be hard. He's going to throw as hard as he can. He's going to run as hard as he can. He's going to stop as hard as he can.
And every time he throws, he's twisted into that torso.
Yep,
no matter, because I know somebody said it was on the left side, but I'm thinking either one, though. I mean, obviously, right side, he's a right-handed. But even left side, you're still got to follow through. You still got to, I mean, either way, you're twerking the torso.
Yep. The clips I saw on the news, he sort of grabbed his left side, not meaning if that's just what he does after he throws or it was hurting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those rest things. You really don't have time to rest. He's fighting for a job. So, but I like the philosophy of he's not my starting quarterback. Do I have to breakneck speed this back in 12 days? Or can I give him about 4 or 5 weeks to totally recover? Not 90%, not 80%. Let's get total recovery. That's what I would do with a multi-million-dollar person that's not going to be my starter. Yeah, people want to see him play. You got all the hype. But if I'm investing in this dude, you good? We're going to wait about 7 weeks here, man, and let you just toss a ping pong ball a couple times instead of throwing a rocket football. But again,
So
all these things every time he's good.
But I got to follow up on that because you made a great point before I lose track of it. So you think if you, like you said, if you were invested into this guy, which I know a lot of people, this is probably one of the most controversial camps I've ever seen because a lot of people think Shedeur's not they're not invested in Shedeur. There's a plot to get him out of the league, or the Browns are against him, or that people think maybe they are on his side and that they're just taking their time developing him. Could that be a way to look at that though? If they force him back out there this preseason, because like you said, you would probably if he's your investment in the long term, I think it'd probably be beneficial for him to just to rest and not do anything crazy to tweak that more, have a bigger injury, especially off the game he showed you last week. You're going to need him probably mid-season because nobody really expects Flacco to play the whole year. So, how would you? Is that a way to assess that? Maybe if they push him back out there too early, maybe this preseason he comes back out there. Is that maybe because they're not sure if they want to keep him around or?
I don't know how these guys think. It is so strange to me, some of the things that I see or hear or read in the newspaper about, what they're doing and the moves they make.
Yeah.
Man, it's far be it for me to try to figure that piece out, but
I've covered. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I just wouldn't let him play. I mean, bottom line, he's hurt. And the same with Pickett. I'm not sure, how many snaps is he going to be able to take? Let's say like a track and field sprinter, world-class sprinter will not run 100 meters with sore hamstring. They might try a 2 or a 4 just to kind of see what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because you're under center, or even if you're in shotgun, it's going to be a quick, hard push off that hamstring.
And we're week 3 now, like you said, with this injury. Because you said 3 to 4 weeks and right on the money. And he said he's just now turning the corner.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you about that hamstring? Like that must have been a pretty good. I mean, honestly, he didn't pull it. Obviously, we don't think, but it was still a pretty good hamstring injury.
Yeah, I would guess from the clips I saw, it wasn't a pull. Again, you pull it, it's a face plant.
Yeah.
I mean,
he didn't pull it. Definitely tweaked it.
Yeah, most athletes will strain that. I mean, most times a sprain of a hamstring or a quad, you got some significant stiffness already present. So there's not a whole lot of room to give for a lateral movement or a hard push movement. But again, I think all of these guys do everything at 1,000,000%. They have to impress somebody with even taking their helmet off. I mean, he takes his helmet off weird. I don't know if he can play. So,
and they're being evaluated every day. I mean, Sanders started last week kind of by default because the other guys weren't available. So now this week it's the other way around. So it's like maybe this is the Browns' way of evaluating him. It's just let's give each one a game because they're all banged up. I mean, possibly, but
and then you got the old man that's being smart. He's probably not doing everything at 1,000,000%.
And they know he's going to start week 1. Too.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to like break his neck, so to speak. But he still wants to impress. He wants to show these young boys, this is how you throw a rope, dude. 80 yards on target. I'd
be curious, too, to see. I wonder what Joe Flacco's training regimen is compared to the younger guys. I bet you it's probably better in a lot of ways because a lot of these new guys, they're not their fault, but they come up with all this new stuff.
Yeah.
All these new trainers now. Everything's a gimmick, a lot of this stuff. And
bells and whistles.
Yeah, so it's like I wonder the difference in the two. But going back to the oblique strain, have you ever dealt with that injury with an athlete, or what's your observation?
I had a couple basketball kids and some running backs that had that kind of stuff. I think a shortstop one time, baseball shortstop. And again, it's another one of those rest injury things, in my opinion. And it was something going on before. Each one of them told me. I felt a little, but I kept going.
He had that shoulder soreness. You remember? I think it was about a week and a half ago, and he missed a day of practice. Could that be connected, or could that be a sign of maybe because Shedeur, he's a hard worker. He's the first guy out there in the field every day. I see. He's a hard worker. Could it be a sign of overuse, possibly?
I would not doubt it for any of these guys. Overuse, and it's kind of like they have to.
Yeah.
I mean, again, they're trying to get a job here. They're trying to impress people.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot
time. Yeah. Now, I think after you have that job, you watch them warming up on the sidelines. Man, it's way less aggressive.
More relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah, I got this. So I'm just going to kind of get my arm a little bit loose, you know. But I think the other part is it should be equal. Like if you're doing something to the left, you should do that to the right. If you do something to the front, you should do that to the back.
To the back.
But many people don't make it even. So now I'm not setting you up to fail by only doing one side. I'm only doing curls. I'm only doing leg curls. I'm not doing any hamstring stuff. So I do 2,700 of those and none to the back. Guess what's going to happen to the back?
Yeah, but imbalance.
Yeah. So you create an imbalance by trying.
And that can really probably mess with your mechanics too. Your running forms, your
Absolutely.
body's being trained to go. You're kind of developing your body to go one way. That's you're not straight up.
But in sport, you know, I tell people you can't, if you like your right foot in the front and something happens and you have to react and your left foot is in front, you can't say time out. I want to put my right foot in front. Yeah. You have to work left, right, front, back. So we create an imbalance. I'll give you another little peek behind the curtain is how I get some 1 billion% right-handed people to learn to use their left hand. Don't tell anybody I told you this. This is
any basketball player. You better start taking notes right now.
This is a trade secret, a little peek behind the curtain. Here's what I ask them to do. Once I recognize that they are just 1 billion% right-handed. I mean, you could tie their left hand behind their back and duct tape it and they won't even miss it.
Yeah.
Because they won't do anything to the left. So what I ask them to do is pretty simple. In the morning, when you get up, you brush your teeth, use your left hand to brush your teeth. Get it all done like you normally would with your right hand. Now, use your right hand and get the toothpaste out of your ear and brush your teeth. But every time you brush your teeth, use your left hand first. And in about 10 times, maybe about, say, 7-10 days, you will go in the bathroom all groggy, and suddenly you put toothpaste on the toothbrush, and you got the toothbrush in your left hand, and you go, whoa, I'm using my left hand.
Yeah.
You know, so we're teaching the brain to do stuff opposite and different, which is how you play stuff. Years and years and years ago, it was a study on right-handed and left-handed. I'm predominantly left-handed, but I hit baseball left and right. Do a lot of things with my right hand, predominantly out of a force, because the world is made for right-handers. Ignitions, spiral notebooks, desks, pencil sharpeners, key locks. Everything was designed for a right-hander, not for us lefties. So you have to learn to do things with both hands. So in order to do that, you have to start training the body a little bit differently, to think a little differently, to be more proactive with the other side of the body. So that little simple trick will get your mind thinking, okay, I can use my left. You got to be able to go, you know, front, back, left, right if you're playing something.
Well, because I do a lot of the mental health side of things. J.J. McCarthy, obviously starting quarterback now for the Vikings, was at Michigan when they won the national. They did a segment on him, and he's right-handed. And he talked about, I pulled it up again right here. He said, the Michigan quarterback brushes his teeth with his left hand. This practice is a technique that he uses to alter his brain waves and enhance his focus. By brushing his non-dominant hand, he aims to change his neural patterns and active alpha brain waves. And I know that, and from the mental health side of things, people I've learned from and studied, that's actually real things. Not only helps you physically, it helps you mentally.
Absolutely.
With your focus and the stuff he mentioned there. I recommend people, any athlete, go look that up about J.J. McCarthy. It was a really cool article, but yeah, that's a good point there.
That's just those little things that make a big difference. Again, my philosophy forever has been, we're going to work harder, but it's going to be smarter. You know, so we're going to try to figure out things to do things. And I'm probably the vice president and owner of the school PhD in HK. I tell people I have a PhD in hard knocks. You know, tried some stuff, it didn't work for them. Tried some stuff, it worked. You know, so I mean, you just have to be able to dig a little deeper and do some different stuff. And I'm just not sure today's athlete, or maybe even some of the coaches, are willing to go outside of that comfort zone. One of my good friends that coached football for 200 years would tell me that he would write the first 8 plays for September and May.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, how do you, what are you dealing with? Who's your quarterback? Who's your running back? Who's your receivers? What is it? How do you know? Oh, this is my first 8 plays. But what if you don't have that personnel? No, this is my first 8 plays.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we can do that. I mean, we got to, let's go through June and July, get into August and see what we're working with. Now let's make a play. So I think a lot of the better coaches design plays around the talent rather than designing the play and hoping they get the talent. So, I mean, I think that makes a big difference. And again, that goes back to, you know, how we prepare to do that stuff.
Yeah, I think a conclusion, you're a coach of these guys in particular. Obviously, Flacco's probably going to start the season. Now, who gets cut, we don't know. If I had to guess, I've always said Kenny Pickett. I thought would be the odd man out, and Kenny, unfortunately, hasn't been able to practice a lot. Has got, you know, and they only gave up a DTR to get him. They invested these picks in the Shedeur and the Gabriel, and I highly doubt the owner's going to trade away Shedeur when he's generated $250 million of revenue already. So,
trade
that away, and you invested a third in Gabriel, so you're not trading him most likely.
Yeah.
Although they could, I know teams, but even with the hamstring now, I don't know, but what his value would be. But it sounds like, Coach, to me, in conclusion, that Flacco actually starting, because I know a lot of, especially the Sanders fans, they want him to start week 1, but it's like, I think that actually the best thing for him right now is Flacco starting, because those weeks he can actually dial it back, because, you know, okay, you can take a deep breath, you made the team, you know your role is. Now you can just compete more with Dillon, you know, but you also, both you guys are injured. Both you guys probably need that first 4 weeks of the season, which is probably after 4 or 5 weeks, probably won't start to know who's going to get out on the field first when Flacco, you know, they pull him out and put the new guy out there. Yeah. But that rest is probably actually beneficial for him, because right now they can't rest really, because they're in a tough spot with camp and preseason. But him starting actually probably a blessing in disguise for him, you know, for the long term of their career and their overall just health.
Absolutely. And again, that would be my move. But and then there's so much to learn from Flacco. I mean, even how he comes out of the locker room. I mean, there's just so much. There's hardly a greater teacher than experience.
Yeah.
So this guy is a wealth of knowledge. And from listening to him do some interviews in the off season, he's willing to share that knowledge. You know, it's like, I got mine. I had my time. I still like to play. I think I can still do a little bit. Yeah, I'm slower, but I think I'd like to train him for 10 weeks too. I think he can run faster. But
probably he'll be out there running like Lamar Jackson now.
Oh man, he looks kind of awkward running, but boy, I love to have a couple times a week with 10 weeks. Cleveland Browns, I'm available, but.
Better call him. You need him. You definitely need him.
I'm cheap and reasonable, but not easy. So
yeah, and he's only down the road. He could be there in 30 minutes. Tops.
That's right.
That
personal parking spot.
Yeah, and I've told people that too. You know, yeah, definitely personal parking spot. But that's a good demand. But you know, and I tell people too. I think Patrick Mahomes sat, Lamar sat, all these guys sat right away. You know, Brett Favre sat, Brady sat. Like, it's good to sit and learn. It's not. You can ruin a kid throwing him out there too early. It's like if you took a kid and said, okay, I want you to do, you know, what would be week 8 of your program from where he's at physically. I want you to do that right now. I mean, he'd get hurt. You'd probably ruin his confidence. And he wouldn't be the same. You know what I mean? You wouldn't do that to a kid. It's slow development up to that, to week 8.
Yeah, I give them a couple snaps. You know, keep the fans happy. I mean, they're buying tickets to see that. I give them a couple snaps, couple short, easy passes. Try a big long one, but if it ain't there, throw it out of the park, that kind of thing.
I think they got what they wanted last week too. 2.2 million viewers tuned in. He played well, and that's the most viewed preseason game on NFL Network in a decade.
Yep. And people want to see it. I mean, I know folks I talk to, they talk about it all the time. I hope they don't run them. Hope they don't throw them out there too hard. You know, so there all of this stuff. A lot of this stuff can be learned, and it used to be anyway, at any McDonald's restaurant. In the morning between 6 and 10, that's where the world's problems are solved, with all those old dudes sitting around drinking dollar coffee.
A lot of wisdom there. Yeah. Coach, I thank you. I got a question for you before you get out of here. I got a Humble has a question. He said, Coach, can you give me some things you like to eat as far as protein? I usually go for steak and maybe peanuts. Can you give me some advice?
I eat steak and I eat all kinds of nuts. I eat pecans every day. I eat a salad every day. Salad being, I use strawberries. I use fruit in my salad. I ain't real big on that super chewy stuff. I'll use iceberg. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I drink a couple, 3 bottles of water a day, even though I'm not playing stuff. And I drink a sport beverage. But I eat steak and a lot of fruit. We buy a lot of fruit, even though it goes bad in 2 days. But so that all of that stuff, I love nuts, man. I eat.
Yeah.
I just popped some down before we got on, some pecans, and go downtown at the old peanut shop that my mom used to take me to and buy nuts frequently down there. But that's the right track.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things. Humble Tune said, "Yeah, Humble, we need to clean that diet up." So, Humble, if you need help with that, I got you, brother. Because I've actually switched my diet to all like whole foods, and I get a good balance of protein and carbs, and
Yeah, it takes some getting used to.
I do the daily greens. Daily greens every morning. Drink that. Put some lemon in it. Lemon's great hydration. Just squeeze a whole lemon into a glass of water. That'll really hydrate you, especially in the morning.
My daughter's in there a lot of that stuff. She's a certified yoga teacher, and she keeps trying to get me to drink some stuff in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
High protein. Focus on the protein. When I get off this show, I'll probably go eat a protein bar or get a protein smoothie. Then I'll go work out. So, but well, Coach, I can't thank you enough. As always, great to see you back here. And Humble says thank you. He loves your advice as always. And but Coach, where can the Browns or the Cavs or the Guardians or anybody, where can they find you at?
Hey, 330-592-1618. EZ2 at AOL.com. EAZEE2, like the number 2, at AOL.com. Me and 12 other people still use AOL. So listen.
Well, hit him up. So, all right, Coach, thank you enough. Thank you so much. And I can't thank you enough. We'll see you in the next one.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Take care. Shout out to Coach Legrair. And I was going to end the live right here, guys, but I have some other stuff I need to get to. We have some breaking news that came out with the Browns. So I'm going to take a quick break and figure this out real quick. And then when I come back, we'll get into it. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
It's interesting to me. God really did have that plan for me throughout this entire time. Mm-hmm. It was simply just up to me when I was able to stop playing God. I thought I was the one making things happen. No, God is in control. A saying my dad used to always say was, man plans while God laughs. I had a plan for my life. Like, I was going to be, I'm talking about from as soon as I can remember my first thought, I'm going to be in the NFL. I'm going to be, a quarterback. Right. I'm going to, my life was made.
I'm going to have all this money. I'm going to get any girl I want. I'm going to have all these cars. Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm talking Beyonce is going to be like, hey, what are you doing today?
What's up?
Then Rihanna tomorrow. Like, it was this plan I had for my life. And as I got older, obviously the plans got smaller, but I still continue to plan. Something that I do now, and I would recommend everybody doing, every single night when I pray, what I used to do was say, God, allow me to pass this test. God, allow me to, meet this girl. God, allow, this date to go well, this day to go well. When I go to sleep every single night, what I pray for is for God's will to be done. Mm-hmm. Because he obviously knows what he's doing. I don't. Because if I knew what I was doing, I would be, I wouldn't be talking about Baker on the Browns. I'd be on the Browns right now. If I knew if I followed my plan, Beyonce would be hitting me up. She hasn't hit me up. I must have missed that call or something.
She don't want some of Bake?
Right. She doesn't want the AMP producer. She has a billionaire husband or something. It's interesting to me. God really did have that plan for me throughout this entire time. Mm-hmm. It was simply just up to me when I was able to stop playing God. I thought I was the one making things happen. No, God is in control.
Mhm.
From the moment I wake up, God is in control. So
All right, welcome back. Welcome into the real. We have some breaking news right now regarding the Browns. I'm gonna put it on the screen here, not the ad. And so, sorry, I'm reading the text. So, I got some breaking news for you guys. As we were on live with Coach, this came out. Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins will not face formal charges after being arrested on domestic violence charge. Sorry for this ad. I don't know why it keeps popping up. And get this out of the way here. So here we go. I think this is a statement here. Let's go ahead and read it again. Cleveland Browns running back Quinshon Judkins will not face formal misdemeanor. Let me put this full screen for you guys before I read this. Right here. Cleveland Browns running back Quinshon Judkins will not face formal misdemeanor battery charges after he was arrested in July. The Browns state attorney office told ESPN's Daniel Oyefuzi, I believe is how you say his name. He's the Browns beat reporter. Really good job. Prosecutors declined to move forward with this case due to several factors, including late reporting the alleged incident to police, no surveillance video, no independent witnesses. This incident was not captured on any surveillance. Read the memorandum by the state attorney's office. There are no independent witnesses to the incident, although the victim had photos showing injury sustained. Sorry for that. There were also videos in the same time frame where no injuries were observed to the victim. Additionally, the victim's injuries depicted in the photos could be explained by either account of the incident. Finally, there was a delayed report of the incident. The delay is problematic as the victim was alone on numerous occasions without the defendant had the ability and resources to make the report without his knowledge. It went on to say, right here, sorry about that, but chose not to do so. For the reasons set forth above, there is no reasonable likelihood of conviction, and this case is being declined. And so this is huge news regarding the Browns, obviously, because now they're probably going to sign Quinshon. He'll be able to come and join the Browns immediately. Obviously, they have not had him in the building with all this stuff going on. Again, if you're just joining, we just got on with Coach here. Go back and watch that. But we took a break, and breaking news: Quinshon Judkins, his charges. He will not face formal charges after being arrested. And it looks like the prosecution has. I got the right here's the statement from Adam Schefter on my phone. Prosecutors have declined to file a formal misdemeanor charge against Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins. A spokesperson for the Browns state attorney's office told ESPN's Daniel Oyefuzi. And so I'm not surprised by this because I saw something today. Somebody did a video on TikTok that was really informative. And I guess they got the police report from this case. And they read through the police report. It was somebody who was a legal analyst. And the way they were breaking it down, it was coming across almost as it was not enough where he could face actual real charges to be convicted. And so I'm not surprised by this. 2 weeks ago when I spoke, or 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago when I spoke to somebody, at first it looked pretty bad. Now he's still going to be suspended probably. I would say at least 5 games from what I've heard, just for conduct policy. He's still going to be probably suspended 5 games. But, if this would have dragged on to something a lot more, if this case would have kept going, I thought there would have been a good chance he would have missed the whole season. That's where a lot of people were thinking, especially after last week, he declined the speed trial. And so that would have extended to next year. And so, again, Quinshon Judkins will be back with the Browns for this season, not facing any charges. Prosecutors have dropped him. So that's it on that case. So in terms now, you look at the Browns running back room now. Now you got your rookie running back you were hoping to have this season, along with Dylan Sampson, the other rookie, and Jerome Ford. And you had some other guys last week looked pretty well. Looked pretty well too. The Marshall kid and then the other guy, I thought they played pretty well. And so that's the breaking news. Again, you can see right there, Quinshon Judkins will not face formal charges after being arrested on domestic violence. And according to Adam Schefter, again, I'll read the statement from Adam Schefter, which I got during we were talking to Coach. Said Adam Schefter says, "Quote: Prosecutors have declined to file a formal misdemeanor battery charge against Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins." They told the Browns state attorney's office. So Quinshon Judkins will be back with the Browns this season. Again, I still expect a suspension, if I had to guess. Probably about 5 games. I think at least 5. So, but that's that. So Quinshon Judkins will be back with the team this year. So I'm sure the Browns, Andrew Berry is probably, they need that extra running back in that room. Obviously, you heard the comment he made when he spoke to the media a couple weeks ago saying, you not only lose sleep about it because of the incident, but also because you invested in this guy, you relied on this guy this year, and they need him this year. If this team wants any type of success, they need that running game's got to be the best it can be. So to really help out these quarterbacks, and so we'll see where that goes. Any more developments, and stay tuned on that. And so breaking news there today. So before I got out of here, though, I had some other stuff I was going to share with you guys today. Anyways, my thoughts on the kind of look ahead to the game this Saturday. Again, Dillon Gabriel's most likely going to start. And so a couple things I mentioned on Mike's show today, a couple things I'm looking forward in this game. We'll start with Dillon Gabriel. The first thing I'm looking forward to is how he moves. How he moves around physically. We just spoke with Coach there. I asked Coach, obviously, what's the, how much is the higher risk of re-injury, with that hamstring he's playing on right now. He's not 100%. And Coach, obviously, you heard Coach say it's not. He's at a higher risk of re-injuring it. And then Coach even broke down some of the obstacles facing with hamstrings when you're trying to move, and how certain movements could tweak that hamstring more and could possibly pull it. And so, or could lead to a bigger injury in your knee. And so, knock on wood, that he's, healthy enough to go out there Saturday and complete a game and be good. I think the Browns are doing a good job of being precautious with this. I know Kevin said that we'll see how he is by the end of the practice today. He'll rest all day tomorrow, get that hamstring as good as he can get it. It's going to be sore, most likely, like Coach said. It's going to be sore, but I want to see how he moves when he goes out there. That's number one. Number two, from a play standpoint, what I want to see is same thing I want to see from Shedeur last week, and I saw from Shedeur is just his processing. How's he seeing the field? Is he seeing the open window throws? Is he going off the first read to the second read? If he needs to the third, we saw Shore also get all the way down to the fifth read towards the end of the game. There was check down. Is he hitting the check downs? Is he hitting the check downs too much? Is he hesitant throwing the ball down the field? Those are the kind of things I'm looking for. And even with that process, I want to see how well he plays under center. Just like with Shedeur, I want to see that last week. I thought Shedeur played pretty well under center. How do you do? How well are you when you have to play under center, drop back, turn your head, and locate coverage? That's what I want to see him do. And so consistently, how does he react to that? And how does he process the field? How does he scan the field? And I want to see his willingness to make certain throws. I thought Shedeur last week made some throws. He said, hitting the pulp smoothie. Get the protein packer, Humble. It's a good one. But, I want to see how well he does processing the field again, but also is he willing to make certain throws? I thought Shedeur last week tried to make some throws with some tight windows. Some he completed, some he didn't complete. But I like the willingness. I like to see a guy trying to make those kinds of throws. How's Dillon going to look? What if Dillon gets backed up in his end zone on a 3rd and 14 like Shedeur did? How's he going to do there? Is he going to complete the same dig route down the field? Is he going to see it? Or is he not? Is he just going to is he going to flush out of the pocket too early? Is he going to try to hit the check down? Those are the things I'm going to be watching with Dillon Gabriel. I almost said Dylan Sampson, thinking of the running back. I want to see how well he does. And so in those areas. And so that's what I'll be looking forward to with him. And then also one other thing I'm going to get to, and I'm going to get some of these. He said, I'll send you one. All right. Give me one too, Humble. I wish you lived by. I'll probably bring me one. That sounds pretty good. But anyways, shout out to Udo Onao. Udo, sorry if I mispronounced it. He said handoff. Yes, he just wanted to hand off the ball. Yeah, I want to see how well he does in the pocket too. I thought Shedeur looked pretty well and looked comfortable in the pocket, stood in the pocket. I want to see Dillon stand in that pocket because it's gonna be with Dillon. It's gonna be a little interesting because he's not gonna be able to move around I don't know if he'll be able to move around as cleanly out of the pocket with that injury. I think. Normally, I want to see him sit in the pocket anyways to deliver the ball down the field. I don't want the guy evading the pocket too early to begin with, especially in that offense. But how well is he going to do on the boots? How much did they boot him? Shedeur did a good amount of bootlegs last week. How often is Kevin Stefanski going to put him in bootlegs? You know what I mean? With that injury, I want to see how he does in that. How well does he move in those? And then also, how's he processing everything? What's his footwork like? He's a left-handed quarterback. How do the receivers respond to him with that? Because that is a little different between when you're catching from a right-handed guy to a left. there's not much of a difference, but there is in terms of sometimes the trajectory of the ball when you're going to catch is different from a left-handed guy than a right-handed. So I'll look to see how the receivers adjust to that, And so those are the things I'll be looking forward to, Dillon Gabriel. The other thing I'm looking forward team-wise, offensively, to finish up offensively, I got some film here that I didn't get to the other day, but it's only a couple plays. That's why I didn't share it. But a couple things I'm looking forward to this week. I think I have it on deck. Give me 1 second. Yeah, right here. And so I'll fast forward here to my play. I thought the perimeter blocking last week was not as good. Some play wasn't as consistent as I wanted to see. I thought the line overall did pretty well. The offensive line. I mean, I think it was 100 plus rushing yards, almost 4 yards an attempt. Let's see that go up to about 5. It's usually where you'd like to be, but 4 is decent for the first game. But I thought some of the plays that got blown up was just the perimeter blocking was not as good, especially with the tight ends and the receivers. And, we talk about these guys catching the ball and running so much, but a lot of their job is blocking. You want a guy receivers that can block. And I thought a good example of that last week was on this play right here. Number 89. I thought he did a really nice job on this play. He actually obviously had a pretty good game, caught a couple touchdown passes. But this was that screen play coming out of that first play of that second drive of Shedeur's second drive. Hit the screen play here. And nice job by the lineman getting out and sealing the alley, hitting the sidewalk. But look down the field there. I thought number 89 did. Look at the effort. I mean, he's about, 15? Let's take a look here. Catch the ball right here. He sees the guy coming. And he's probably, about 15 yards downfield, almost 20 yards. And look how even downfield, I'm still trying to get a block on this guy, get a hat on this guy. Just the effort. A lot of blocking is just effort. You know what I mean? And I like seeing that type of stuff from our receivers. One play that stood out to me the most, I saw some other guys that react to film, shout out to them, pointed this out as well. Jamari Thrash last week in this running play here, this whole play was blown up because of Jamari Thrash not hitting a block. And this could, let's take a look at the play here. This play, if he hits that block, you're probably getting maybe a couple more positive yards out of that. But look from the back view here. Here's Jamari Thrash right here, number 80. Supposed to put a block, put a hat on this guy here and seal that edge, and push him, get him out of the picture. Can't just let him run back there. And Jamari, look at the block here. Doesn't even, that's unacceptable. And I'm sure Jamari knows that. And I'm sure the Browns receivers coach, Chad O'Shea, probably pointed that out first thing on Saturday. You can't have that happen. So, again, stuff like that is what I want to see fixed. There was another play too. We'll see now. Now this stuff's this NFL Plus. You pay for all this money for this stuff, but it likes to do this. It likes to freeze. Okay, refresh. So we'll go back to that Jamari play. I'm sorry about that. Give me 1 more second. But again, I want to see stuff like that cleaned up. I thought there was a lot more plays I could point up here. I'm just pointing out the 2 obvious ones to me. Where again, that Jamari Thrash one, you cannot have that happen. You can't have let a guy walk right in the backfield. Okay, here it is right here again. Again, Jamari right here, number 80. And just lets the guy go right past him. Doesn't put a body on him at all. Doesn't even try to touch him. Guy just runs right past. And all that's just bad positioning there by Jamari. You got to be better with your feet and your hands. So that's a fundamental error there. But stuff like that I want to see cleaned up. Another one that stood out to me last week. Another screenplay, I think it was. We went back to 6 minutes and 23 seconds. Again, these are the things I'm looking at offensively this week I want to see. Besides Dillon Gabriel, I want to see these things cleaned up here. This perimeter blocking was not as good to me. So I think it was this play here. The end around play. This is what it was. You see Harold Fannin there, not great blocking. Guy runs right past him. Again, you got to chop your feet and get in position to put your hands in front on the guy. And Deontay Johnson, right there at the top of the screen. It starts with Deontay Johnson, really. Watch here at the top. Deontay Johnson, the perimeter block here. Not a great perimeter block. Just throws a hand out there. Doesn't touch the guy. And Harold Fannin doesn't do a good job of cleaning it up. Those things I want to see cleaned up this week. I want to see more. That block we saw earlier from number 89 all the way downfield. I want to see more of that effort on the perimeter blocking. That would be, if I was the coach, that would be my challenge to my receivers this week and their tight ends. Can you block better than this? And Deontay Johnson there, I think he knew he messed it up. You could tell by his body language. Didn't get much out of that play. And that's a busted play. And really, if you look at it, those little plays like that, you got to clean that up now. You cannot have this type of habits going into the season because that play may have had something there. Let's take a look at it again on the end around. And the DN bid on it. And so, again, if you're able to block this guy and get him pushed out, Deontay's able to block. I think Deontay, if they're able to get a body on this guy and Deontay come up here and block this guy, you may have a little crease here. You know what I mean? You at least get a first down out of it or close to it. You can't have plays like this just get blown up because it's just not great effort, in my opinion, and just, bad fundamentals on the blocking. And so, again, one more time, this is stuff I want to see cleaned up. Yeah, bad block by Deontay, and then Harold, I didn't even really get in a good position there. Guy was able to run right past him. And so that's the stuff I want to see cleaned up again this week from the offensive side of things. And then defensively, if you didn't see my defensive film breakdown, go check it out. I put that out yesterday. I want to see the secondary play a lot better. I need to see better communication. I need to see better man coverage, better job jamming guys, and getting hands on guys at the top point of attack of the top of routes before they break. You're doing a better job there. I saw too many guys getting beat at the top of the routes when guys would break inside and not getting hands on guys again at man to man at the line of scrimmage, not jamming guys, just letting guys run right past them. I thought the receivers for the Panthers team were able to run too scotch free, and you got to be a little more physical, and the communication's got to be a lot better. The touchdown pass they had early on in the game, Bryce Young, where the guy literally broke out. They ran a crossing routes. It was kind of a pick action, which you see that in any point of the field, especially in the red zone, though. It's a good play. Our guys did not communicate well, and number 18, I believe it was running from the left side to the right side of the field. I broke down the film, ran scotch-free. Casey, the safety, got over there too late, didn't recognize it. There was bad communication when the guys were crossing each other, and so I think they were like that man. They were in a man zone, and so you got to do a better job communicating. So communicating, tackling, and really just again, better job in man coverage from the secondary. That's what I want to see better this week. Again, doesn't have to be great, but I want to see improvement from week to week. Can we take our low areas from last week and improve on them this week? And can we take what we did last week and build upon that? That's how you get better as a team. That's how you become. That's how you reach your goals. That's how you win games consistently. You start working on those habits now and build off of that each week. If we start to see some more of these problems again each week to week, then I'd be a little concerned. I'd start looking at the coaching staff like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, are we fixing these stuff during the week? What's going on here? So that's part of building a good culture again. So big week for the Browns. Big game Saturday. Can't wait to watch it. Now it's Dillon Gabriel's turn, and looking forward to it. Shout out to Coach Legrair today. Again, if you didn't see that, you just tuned in, go back and watch the interview with Coach Legrair, broke down all the injuries and the timetables and everything. So shout out to Coach. And, shout out to you guys. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Like, subscribe, share all that good stuff. Love all you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out of here.